course. What's up, guys? Alright, just pop this open here. And we're gonna dive in. So, am I too loud? I'm just not used to all the feedback in a big room. So, I want to talk to you guys today about 7 secrets to marketing messages that work. And for those of you guys that were in my workshop yesterday, talked about this being a little bit of a Fight Club moment. So today is the day where you find out Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are the same person. Yeah, good. Got a couple responses. Wasn't sure how that was going to land. So I want to start with a little story. I introduced myself briefly yesterday in the workshop. Now I get the whole stage, and I love attention. So why not share a story, right? Let me start my timer too, which I was totally going to forget to do. So I have been kind of fascinated with marketing my whole life. I started when I was about 13. I made my first dollar online when I was 12, actually. I borrowed my dad's social security number because you get paid, you have to report it, and when you're 12, you can't get paid. And over time, that really just evolved into a passion of mine. And I say marketing is my love language. I love marketing, I love teaching marketing, I love sales, I love selling. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I'm hoping that that's what you guys take away here. But I went the traditional path anyway. I went to college, got an undergrad, and I decided to get a master's degree. Basically because I was like every millennial out there, I was like, I'll get a degree that makes me feel good, and then once I have it, I will be in so much trouble that I have to get more education. And about a year into my master's program, I had an assistantship, it was paid for, everything was great. And since I was about 8, I've always suffered from anxiety, depression, panic attacks, but very intermittent. And I was driving home from work one day, and I kind of started this side business, and I started having a panic attack in my car, just thinking like, what am I going to do with my life? Now mind you, it's a 15-minute drive from work to my house, so it's not like I am in rush hour, or I have like all this time to think. I'm like 5 minutes on the road, and I start getting tunnel vision, which I've never had happen before. I start getting lightheaded, I think I'm going to pass out. I start crying. I'm also an emotional person, but this time it was like legit. I start crying, and I just remember thinking like, this isn't going to work. I can't do this anymore. And I remember going home and being so frustrated with where I was in my life that I so vividly remember this. I picked up my phone and threw it at the wall. Just because I was just like so overwhelmed, just in general. And when I saw that it didn't break, I picked it up and threw it again. Yeah. And that was a real turning point for me. And I thought my story was already written, things were going okay, I was pretty financially stable, I was starting this business. And that's when I kind of had this full circle moment where I realized if I want the life I want, I have to sell and I have to market. And I want you guys to know that selling and marketing is completely natural. You've been doing it your whole life. You sold a spouse on why you needed to come here. Your kids sell you on why they should be able to stay up for 30 more minutes and watch that TV show. You sell yourself about why you're going to join Beachbody. We're constantly selling. But if you don't lean into it and start marketing yourself, you will end up in a situation like I did. Now, it might not be as intense. Everybody has different things going on in their life. But at some point, give me a show of hands if you're in this business or you started this business or you're doing this business because ultimately you want more than what you have right now, right? That's why we started this business. And so I went back and forth about how to share this story. In Beachbody, we're all about the why in the story, so I was like, whatever, I'll just do it, even if it's a loose tie-in. But I want you guys to understand that you are here because you want more. And at the end of the day, the only way for you to get more is to give more. And if you value yourself and you value Beachbody and you value these products, it's completely acceptable to put a dollar sign in front of that. So let's talk a little bit about why you guys are here. You are probably looking to stand out a little bit. So I used to be a coach. They give you the things, they post the success story every month, and we all hit the share button. We're like, look at so-and-so, she won $500. but so did 100,000 other coaches. And you're like, how am I supposed to be different when all my products are the same? Right? Anybody feel that way? Like, how am I supposed to be different when the price is the same, the offer is the same? You might also be thinking, you're looking at these big coaches and you're really attracted to this tribe mentality, right? How many of you have looked at a coach, top coach, coach above you, and been like, I want that. I want 20 people who are just all in with me, ride or die no matter what. I know I wanted that when I started, and I know I wanted that in my current business. And the last thing is, like, you're looking to get paid. So I'm somebody, if you were in my workshop yesterday, either one, I'm not afraid to tell you I sell. I sell stuff. I sell digital products, I sell coaching, I sell $10 mini products, I sell. Guess what? You sell too. Own it. I have a really great mentor who loves to say the transformation is in the transaction. And how many of you have gotten, it's okay, you've all done it, you've gotten a workout program or a shake, or maybe it's even from Beachbody before you joined, you got it for free. Oh, put your hands up, you guys are full of it. You've all gotten something free. And for those of you that got something free, whether it was a workout program, a business program, doesn't matter, how many of you did it all the way through and got like incredible results? The $0 investment all the way? 2 hands. Dramatically lower number. Oh, 3. 1 hand in the back. What I want you to understand is that the average person needs some sort of incentive to take action. And for most of us, money is a real strong motivator. Really is. So we're going to talk about marketing messages. We're not really going to talk about sales. But I really wanted you to understand that my goal for you is to walk away from this understanding that you can craft marketing messages. You can convert people. But at the end of the day, everything you put out there is a marketing message in some way, shape, or form when you're living a lifestyle business. And that's what you're all doing. We talk about time freedom. We talk about life by design. That means your life is your marketing. When you post a picture of you on vacation, you're marketing yourself. When you post a picture of you with a messy bun, you're marketing yourself. When you talk about the bad day you had at work or in your business, you are marketing yourself. You don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it, but every time you put something online, you are either attracting or repelling the type of people that want to work with you. So with all that being said, I promise we'll come full circle, and I always like to lead in at a very high level, and I want to know, you guys ready to talk about writing messages that sell? You guys ready to get paid? Yeah. All right, let's do it. So let's start with point number 1, which is speak to one person. Now, here's the thing. When you are marketing, no one likes to feel like they are part of a group. Everybody wants to feel included, but nobody wants to feel included when they're being marketed to. So what you need to understand is that you are not a radio. We're not broadcasting messages to the world. We're speaking to people on an individual level, even when it's a one-to-many level, whether it's an Instagram post, a Facebook post, you're doing a live stream, a Periscope. It doesn't matter. You need to be speaking to one person. I want you to kind of imagine for a second, like, which of these 2 scenarios sounds better, and I think that this really pulls it together. Hey, how many of you guys want to lose weight? Yeah, okay, super great response. Because I'm talking to all of you at once. What you will notice is that in this presentation, I'm not saying, you guys, Beachbody coaches, everyone in this room. I'm saying you. How do you feel about this? What's your dream? What do you want out of the business? If I say something like, are you ready to learn how to craft specific marketing messages for your business that convert? Notice the response I got. Are you ready to sell? Are you ready to get results? Who wants to make more money? It's not great. Yeah, see, again, notice it's perfect. Because I'm not saying you. It sounds silly. In copy, we call it you language. You need to be speaking to one person. So when you write a post, yes, it's going to be seen by a couple hundred people. But everybody's reading it by themselves. Everybody who sees your content is by themselves. And you need to acknowledge that. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is you need to speak like your customers. And this part of the presentation is going to be a little long. And I'm okay with that because it's important. But you might get stuck in what I like to call the void. And I call it something different every time, so I probably called it something different yesterday. But I called it the void on this presentation, so that's what we're calling it. The void is when you don't realize how far you've come, and you don't realize that you've evolved beyond your customer. So in marketing, and especially in the space that I'm in, we like to say your customers are generally you about 2 years ago. 12 months to 2 years ago. And a lot of you are seeing that if you've been in the business for more than 6 to 12 months. And I talked about this a little tongue-in-cheek yesterday. And when you started this journey, especially if you did it for weight loss, you didn't start drinking green juice and drinking your shake every day and posting pictures of it and making, oh my gosh, it's great, I switched to almond milk and now I make peanut butter and it just tastes like a Reese cup, you liars. It tastes good. It tastes good. It don't taste like a Reese cup. But it's good. But a lot of times we market that way. We market where we are right now because we do hear things like tell your story, share where you are, let people know, let them in on the journey. But I want you to kind of think like, when was the last time you had an experience very similar to when you first started this journey? Like really, when's the last time you pressed play and were like, I'm gonna die? When's the last time you got home at 5 o'clock and you're like, all I really want is chicken nuggets and to be left the hell alone? And I have an insanity workout, and if Shanti even talks to me, I'm gonna scream. Right? When's the last time that somebody said, hey, do you want to go to yoga? And you said, hey, do you want to lose my number? But that's how we're marketing ourselves. And so I want you to start thinking, this means that we need to do a little bit of spying. Because it's really easy. We tend to be very present. We tend to be very in the moment. I could not give this presentation to somebody who's been in the business for 5 minutes. It just wouldn't work. Hopefully no one here just signed up this morning. We have to do a little bit of spying. And I told you yesterday that I would give you some very tactical ways to figure out how to speak to your audience. And the first one is by going on Amazon. And Amazon is a fantastic customer research tool. And I'm going to highly recommend that you write this down. I will research my customers when. Put a date. You need about 1 to 2 hours, but you need to do research. Businesses do research, right? You're a business. There's companies out there that pay $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 to get survey responses. You know when you go through Old Navy and they're like, fill out this survey and we'll give you a $50 gift card. You know how much they're paying for those survey results? There's a reason. But we don't have to do that. So the first option is to use Amazon. And what you're going to do is you're going to find a book around what you teach. Now, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but you all have your own uniqueness, your own piece that makes your tribe what it is, right? You're all here looking to get healthy, lose weight, drink shakes. That's fine. Everyone's doing that. So what makes you unique? Is it that you work with women over 50? Is it that you work with people after pregnancy? Is that you work with people who have 15 to 20 pounds to lose, you're not really in for the journey, you're just looking to work with people that kind of have the lifestyle, they want it back. Do you work with college athletes? And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the books, you're going to find a couple of books on your topic. You can search things like weight loss, health and fitness, juicing, whatever. Think about books that your customers would read. And you're going to look up the 3-star reviews. 3, 4, and 2. But the 3-star reviews are generally the best. And here's why. A 3-star review means, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. That review is going to say, here's what I didn't like, here's what I did like. And it's going to be written in their voice. They're literally going to tell you, for the part of the journey that you speak to, what they like, what they don't like, and how to position it. So this is something I do all the time. And if you guys saw my Facebook ad yesterday, we say like the exact step-by-step process I use to run Facebook ads. It's one of the ads that we run. That is verbatim from an Amazon review on Facebook Ads for Dummies. Because I really loved this book because it gave me an introduction and I didn't know what I was doing. But I wish they would have showed me exactly how to set it up step by step. So I'm not guessing if that's what they want. That's what they want. And people who are vocal and outspoken, they are representative. Now, do you have to do a little research and get a little creative and combine stuff together? Absolutely. And the second option for customer research is Facebook groups. You need to promise me something. This drives me nuts. It's a total pet peeve of mine. Please don't go into a Facebook group and be like, I help women lose weight, and I just really want to know what you're struggling with. If they're struggling with not having time, they're struggling with not having a workout program, and they're struggling with not having money. There, I saved you the time, you don't have to post it. They're also not going to be honest with you, right? there's this perception, the best way I can explain it is, have you ever been sold something and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was going to buy that, right? You go into Target, you walk through the aisle, you spend $100, and you're like, I feel a little bad about myself, but it's cool, because I only spent $1 on this notepad I don't need. You go to a used car lot, and you're like, if anybody even looks at me sideways, I'm out, right? The perception of an experience and an interaction changes the way that we interact. So in Facebook groups, you are an anthropologist. You are not interacting, you are not talking. It doesn't mean you can't, but it means when you're researching, you are simply paying attention to what people say. Now, how many of you have a free Facebook group? Okay. I'm assuming it's relatively safe to say that what you see in there all the time is not, my workout was great today. Maybe you do, I'm not saying you don't. But I'm willing to bet the majority of what you see is like, this is what I'm struggling with, what do I do? Yeah, lots of nods. There you go. That's what makes you different, because your audience has different problems. See, you might all sell insanity, you might all sell P90X, you might all sell Ohio. Your group of people has specific reasons they want it. And in Facebook groups, whether your own or someone else's, they're posting there what their problem is. So imagine the difference between a conversation that says, hey, I'm running a really awesome challenge group. Would you be interested in joining? And a conversation that goes, hey, this big thing that people are struggling with is like meal planning and staying on track. I see that all the time. Is that something you struggle with? Awesome. That's a really big focus of this upcoming group that I have. It's fitness, it's wellness, and we're really going to tap into food. I think that Sarah Tri does a fantastic job of having those topics inside her group, because that's what she's doing. Her customers are saying, oh, I don't have the willpower. So she's teaching them mindset. They're saying, oh, I just can't be healthy. So she's teaching them how to rearrange their kitchen, right? Top coaches are not going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to download the product guide and I'm going to read it on the phone. That's not what they're doing. They're listening to their customers and they're responding accordingly. Now the third option is one that gets so overlooked. Ask people why they bought from you. How many of you have sold something before? Okay, keep your hands up if you've sold something before. From Beachbody, from anywhere. I really don't care where you sold it from. How many of you keep your hands up if you then got on the phone with that person and said, hey, can I ask you why you decided to work with me and order this product? So why did it sell? See, there's an opportunity when you get a customer to just ask them. And if they bought because they trust you, they will tell you why. Because, see, we have this perception that people are going to say things like, you know why I bought? Because I really want to lose 10 pounds. But just a quick little sidestep in my own business, I've had people come to me and say things like, you know why I bought from you? Because you talked about the struggle you had with anxiety, and I just really resonated with that, and I just like you. And I needed Facebook ads, so I picked you. So that tells me that that vulnerable part of my story is important to people, and I need to be talking about that more. I've had people say things like, honestly, you said that you were going to take me behind the scenes and show me inside your business, and I can't find that anywhere else online. You best believe that's on all our sales pages now. This isn't behind the scenes look at a working business, because that's what they want. They don't want more money. They don't want more time. And guess what? I have a little newsflash for you. Give me a show of hands if you think people want to be at their goal weight, and that's why they work with you. Show of hands. How many of you are like, people want to work with me if they're at their goal weight? Oh, you liars. It's fine. It's cool. I can roll with it. Here's the thing. We have this perception that people want what they tell us they want. They don't. Let's try this a different way. How many of you want to be a diamond coach at some point? You want to be a diamond coach? Really? Okay. How many of you want to make an extra $500 a month? That would be nice. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to call somebody out. Tell me why you want to make $500 a month. Yeah. Okay. What kind of expenses?
Well, I guess that's not the word.
Okay. Perfect. So two things happened there. One was unplanned, one was planned. So the first thing that happened was, notice how she's like, I really want $500. And I was like, why? She's like, well, that's not really what I want. Most of us don't ask why. We're like, oh, perfect, you want to lose 10 pounds? Awesome, insanity. No, they don't. The second thing that happened is kind of this underlying thing. She actually doesn't want $500 a month. She doesn't even want $2,000 a month. She doesn't even really want to match her full-time income. And I'm getting this look like, yeah, she does, she just said it. No, she doesn't. You want the perception, and you want what you believe comes with matching your full-time income, which could be time freedom, which could be time with your kids, which could be a vacation every year. See, it's not about the money, it's not about the weight loss, it's not even about the self-confidence. It's about what people believe that end will bring them. Because I guarantee you, all of you who raise your hand at $500 a month, you have this perception of what that looks like in your life. All of you who said diamond, you have a perception of what that means in terms of income, in terms of team cycle, in terms of team culture. A goal is simply what people believe they want without truly understanding what they know it will create. And your job is to do the research so that you can paint the picture. Because if I come to you, I'm going to come back over here, and I'm so sorry I did not catch your name, Katrina, and I say, Katrina, let's work together and make $500 a month. Do you want to hire me right now? Don't worry, I don't have anything to sell. it's just an example. Do you want to work with me right now for making $500 a month? Okay. Now let me ask you this. If I say right now I want you to pull out your credit card and give me $500, no questions asked. You still super committed? Yeah. Now, if I change this around and I say, Katrina, I know that you're really looking to get out of your job, and let me just be really honest with you. It's going to take like 6 to 12 months. We need to talk a little bit about your income. I think it's really important to get clear on what your goals are. Tell me about your goals. And Katrina says, here's what I'm looking to do, here's what I want, here's how I want my business to look, and I say, awesome. Based on that, I have some really awesome opportunities. Is that something that you'd be open to discussing, right? About how to get out of your job leveraging this opportunity. She's going to say yes. I'm assuming you'll say yes. I'm going to say, awesome. So to me, it sounds like what you're saying is you really want to leave your job, you're really invested in health and fitness, and this is the way that you want to do it. Does that sound about right? Perfect. So now I'm going to go into my pitch of whatever it is. In this case, it could be coaching, it could be a product, but I'm willing to venture that most of you lean on weight loss, Shakeology, all these products. And so the key thing here is that we need to be digging in with our customers before and after they buy from us. So I know that the slide says ask them, and you're like, you started with customers and then you ended with a prospect, and I absolutely did, because every step of the way is a different mindset. Because the mindset that somebody who wants to become a coach is different than somebody who wants to become a customer, is different from somebody who's in a challenge group, is different from somebody who's in a free group. And if you're not constantly leaning in and listening, you're missing the mark, because good marketers listen, and if you want a good business, you want to be a good marketer. So one last little point, then we can jump into the good stuff, the less boring stuff. It's like, go do research, because, right? It's not about what we know, it's about what they know and want. So I get it. I really do. As health and fitness coaches, we're like, but they need to eat clean, they need to be consistent, they need to know these things. But there's a really great little factoid, which is most people who get healthy that are smoking is the last thing to go for the majority of people. Did you guys know that? So for people who hire personal trainers, do coaching programs, do an at-home program, if they're smoking, it's the last thing to go. A lot of people hit goal weight before they ever stop smoking. But that's like the big red flag right there. I want to get healthy, but I don't want to give up my cigarettes. Now, don't get me wrong, cigarettes are addictive. That's a whole other story. What I want you to understand is that our perception is like, but they shouldn't be smoking. And I've worked with, I used to work in a fitness center. I was a manager for several personal trainers, and I learned that in the personal training space, you just don't worry about it. Because if you do your job, and they hit their goal weight, and they still can't run, they'll put down the cigarette. So stop telling people, your big problem is you're not eating clean and being consistent. They don't care. Their problem is the 10 pounds they want to get rid of. The problem is they want to quit their job. The problem is they want more out of life. And you're so busy saying, 90 days, free calendar, workout equipment, comes with barbell, comes with little plastic cup, right? But they don't care. It's not what they asked for. It's not what they want. It's not even what they know they want. So Once you do a little bit of research, we get into actually crafting your marketing messages. You can skip forward 2 slides because I kind of condensed stuff together. To number 3, which is share authentically. And I want you to avoid the TMI trap, because I see this all the time, right? We're like, be vulnerable. So the way that I like to explain this is that authenticity is sharing the valley after you're out of it. It's showing the scar after it's healed, right? It's not, oh my gosh, my car crashed this morning, my kids are a mess, my life is falling apart, by the way, my challenge group starts Monday. I don't want to work with you, your life is a hot mess. But we see it all the time because we think we're supposed to be sharing authentically, being vulnerable. It's sharing the bad with the good. So there's something called the hero's arc, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm looking at my time and I'm doing okay. The hero's arc is essentially what we see in every single movie. Has anybody seen the new Beauty and the Beast movie? It's amazing. If you haven't, go see it. Incredible. Every Disney story follows this arc. It starts, there's a little bit of drama at the beginning, like, oh no, she got kidnapped, what's gonna happen, right? And then over time, we're like, I have mixed feelings about this, but it seems to be getting better. And then there is a climactic moment where she runs home. Hopefully you guys have seen the original movie, it's an old school movie. She runs back into town to save her father, and then at the end, everything comes together. And if you're like me, you cry for like 5 minutes in there because everybody's turning back into inanimate objects. It's sad. It doesn't matter how many times you see it. Too many of us are talking about the part where everything in our life is turning back into inanimate objects and the curse is setting in. And you're not talking about how you got there. You're not talking about the end. Because you're like, I have to share. This is my job, is to share and be open and be vulnerable. No, your job is to inspire people. And let me tell you something. There's nothing inspiring about a hot mess. And I should know because I am one like 24/7, which is why I'm really good about my social media, right? So, just a few quick tips. You can talk about overcoming obstacles. And when I talk about obstacles, what I want you to understand is this should be obstacles that your customers are dealing with, not you. There was a trend in Beachbody, and no shade if you were on it. What was it? I'm going to forget. Candida diet was really big in like the Beachbody community. Just like blew up all of a sudden. And I saw a lot of people leading with it, and like, tongue in cheek, I was like, no, it's not going to work. It actually did work really well for a few people, so that's not entirely true. But it worked really well for the people who were targeting people who wanted to get healthy, who wanted to live a more clean lifestyle, people who are already gluten-free, people who are already vegan, vegetarian. That's a pretty niche market, right? If you're overcoming an obstacle like Candida, it's total thing, totally believe in it, not knocking the diet or the importance of it. But what I want you to understand is if none of your people that you're targeting to have that, who cares? Right? You care, the people around you care. It's not that it's unimportant, it's that it's not important to them. And so there's something I like to say, which is like, not everything in our life is a marketing opportunity, right? Just because something happens to us doesn't mean we have to market it. And it doesn't mean we have to market it today. We can market it years down the road. You also want to talk about sharing your past in a way that connects. When I talk about sharing your past in a way that connects, we can go back to the beginning, where I talked about my story, just very briefly. And I'm willing to bet, you don't have to raise your hand, but I'm willing to bet there's people in here who are like, wow, I didn't know that he struggled with anxiety or had panic attacks or went through that, and I'm dealing with that too. And it already made you more receptive to my presentation, right? Now, realistically, I know the statistics, 1/3 of you are dealing with some kind of anxiety, so I've got the advantage. We don't. And I want you to start thinking about, what can I share that connects with people where they are? Can I talk about a time where, like, what was one that I did like way back? Like, have you ever started the DVD and been like, screw this, and turned it off? We're all like, press play, just do 5 minutes, and then your life is amazing, and the clouds part, and the sun shines down on you, and God's out there like, you got this, right? Not really. Not me. How many of you, like, really, have started a workout and been like, no, not today? I just went home from the gym last week. I was like, I'm gonna run 5K, 2.5 miles. I was like, that's 30 minutes. I'm out of here. Like, that connects with people, but we're so busy being like, I have to be perfect, I have to be connected, I have to be this, that, and the other. But guess what? That's what people at the beginning of their journey are struggling with, so why aren't we talking about it?
Right.
Why do we just keep regurgitating? Press play, press play, press play. I get it. There's nothing wrong with strong taglines and incredible marketing messages. But what about the people who press play, who are trying to connect with you, that don't know you also press pause?
Right.
You've missed them. The last little thing to think about is that pulling back that mask you create. And Josh talked about this a little bit on the first day. There's this perception of everybody. Everybody has this perception. I talked about this a little bit in the second group yesterday. But my life was going fantastic from the outside. Everybody was like, your business is growing, you're doing incredible, everything's great. And I went on a family trip to Mexico, came back, started having 3 to 5 panic attacks a day, had to get back on medication, couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks, and sobbing uncontrollably 4 hours a day. It sucks. Life happens. And I wouldn't just share that while it's happening, because we talked about that already. But that makes me more relatable whether you struggle with that or not. Because while I'm up here, whether I like it or not, I'm quite literally on a pedestal. I am, was it like 2-3 feet? 2-3 feet up in the air. You literally are looking up to me right now. It's unfortunate, but it's what's happening. Or maybe it's fortunate, I don't know, maybe you like me. You have to understand that if you're always being up here perfect, you are not relatable, right? People aren't like, wow, Kim Kardashian is so relatable, that's why I follow her on Snapchat. Right? That's not how we build our businesses. We want to be relatable. So the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit is being polarizing. And I'm totally going to use Josh here, which is his little hashtag, which is let's puke together. That's polarizing. There are people that don't like that. I guarantee at some point Josh has gotten a comment, a message, an email that's like, you know, have you thought about using something lighter? Or it could be a more aggressive email. He's nodding, so kudos to me. Got one today, he said. Be polarizing. It's okay. But what we need to understand is that being polarizing does not mean being offensive. So we hear be polarizing, take a stance, and you think you have to be Gary Vee. Right? Gary Vee could not be any more polarizing, like, hustle, this, that, look at me. I think this is the only way to do it. No, it should be polarizing, be different. Guess what? Everybody thinks apps are made in the kitchen. Everyone thinks you should eat clean. Everyone thinks you should drink your shake every day. Everyone thinks you should invite. Cool. How do you stand out? Be polarizing. Take a stand. It's really okay to have people not like you and to disagree with you. Like, I just can't stress this enough. And I'm going to skip ahead a couple slides. I just want to skip to the slide with Jasmine, because now I'm babbling a little bit. I have a really good friend, Jasmine Starr. She's a fantastic photographer, amazing social media personality. Highly recommend that you follow her if you don't already. And she has this saying that I do have to read off the slide because I don't want to butcher her words. Everything you should do should attract and repel. Attract your perfect customer and repel the non-lifers. Everything you do. Do you think there are people that don't like that I pull back the curtains and talk about my finances on my podcast? Better believe it. You think I get people emailing every week like, your ego's so big I can't handle it. And then on the flip side, I get people who are like, you're so open, I appreciate you, I like you. The good comes with the bad, and if you're not polarizing, you're in the middle and no one cares. So you can either be liked by some, hated by some, or cared about by none. Those are really your two options. So pick one. The next thing I want you to do is start creating conversations and non-soapboxes. People naturally want to give their input on things. You ever notice that? Have you ever had a conversation with someone where you're like, oh shoot, what did they say? I was so busy thinking about what I was going to say next. We've all done it. People want to give their input. So ask people what to buy. This is a fantastic post. A lot of people on my team do this, and it works incredibly well. I used to do it all the time when I was a coach. Which of these Nikes should I buy? The responses blow up. It's not about converting to a sale on the front end. It's that, guess what? Those people see you listening and then post a picture of the shoe you bought later. Thanks so much for everybody who voted. Really appreciate it. People just want to be heard. Something we all want. It's a basic human need. Ask people what to wear. Oh my gosh. My personal coach, Angie Green, does this all the time. And it always blows up. It always blows my mind. She's like, what do I wear? This dress or that dress? People are like, oh my God, I don't know which one. And I see it happen all the time. It always blows my mind. They're like, oh my gosh, we're the one on the left. By the way, what's your challenge group starting? I'm like, what is happening? She's connecting with people. Ask people where to go to eat. Ask people to share their lives. Something I love to do. I do it like once every other month or so. I'm like, share a picture of your dog. Partially because I'm selfish and I like dog pictures, usually when I'm having a bad day. Share a picture of your dog. Hundreds of comments. People want to be heard. Stop getting on your soapbox. No one cares that you lost 40 pounds when you're talking about it every day. Superior. It's not that it's a bad story, it's not that it's not okay, but what we have to understand is that everybody watching you is watching through the lens of, I'm here, you're there. Your journey is important. But if you're always talking about it as this is what you do to do what I did, people don't care. People want to be spoken with, not talked at. The real big thing is just start a conversation. Start a conversation with people. Don't preach, don't teach, start a conversation. And they'll tell you what to preach and teach. 2 more points, and I'm actually doing pretty decent on time. So number 6 is solve real problems. And I can't read this font. Maybe I need glasses. Let's go over here and read this one. You can go to the next slide, because I want to read this verbatim. So has anyone ever said, oh my gosh, you know what my biggest problem is? I don't have an exercise DVD, but if I had that, I would be a size 0 with abs for days. Everybody ever said that to you? No? Me neither. Here's the thing. We need to start solving problems, you guys. Real problems. Like, what are people struggling with? So many people are out there offering solutions, and I have this saying, if you've seen me online before, you've heard me say it at some point. I say, stop creating solutions and start solving problems. Nobody wants a solution. They want you to tell them what their problem is, and they want you to fix it. How many of you have a plumber on speed dial right now? No? 1 person? 2 people? You guys are smart. Ready for emergencies? If your toilet exploded tomorrow, how many of you would find a plumber in a pretty reasonable amount of time? Your toilet just blew up tomorrow and started flooding? Yeah. It's the same solution, but in the second scenario, I'm solving your problem. Okay? Again, guys, it all sounds so simple and silly because it is. What it really comes down to is stop telling people what you do, start listening and responding the way they want you to. I also want you to go beyond they need to lose weight. Are they short on time? Are they short on space? Are they just short on self-motivation? Our sales messages need to be around the problems that people have, not around the solutions that we know. Because we know the solution. And I keep saying it over and over and over again, but I'm going to say it again. Eat healthy, work out, be consistent. If those 3 sentences change lives, none of us would have a job. And the last piece is to get consistent. And I just want to qualify this for a second by saying consistent does not mean posting 5 times a day on your Facebook. It does not mean that every hour on the hour you have an inspirational tweet. It does not mean that you have a million marketing messages that are completely queued up. I built my business to an incredibly successful level, I like to think. And I was posting on Facebook once a week. It's not about posting, right? We think that consistency is like post, post, post. But I want to get a little cliche for a second. And I want you to think about this. And this is super cliche, you've all heard it before, but I like this, so it's my presentation. If you doubled a penny every day for 30 days, you have like over $1 million. But I want to go in a little closer to this. So sorry, I started with the cliche, but I promise I'll pull it back. There is a point in this, it's actually a mathematical term that I couldn't find when I was doing my research, so we're just going to call it the tipping point. And the tipping point, which is my next slide. Maybe? One more slide? Right up here. It's cool. I can do without it. So the tipping point is right around day, I'm going to have to zoom in because I have a small font in my notes, right around day 23. Around day 23, you get into the 6-figure level if you're doubling a penny. Now, up to that point, it's not impressive. Nothing's really happening. But what I want you to understand is that all of you have a tipping point. And listen, I know what you're thinking. You're up here like, well, if I was a top coach, I would have that. Or if I had $1,000 or $10,000 a month to spend on advertising, I'd be there too. Or, like if I was there, I'd have that. Guys, those people have that because they worked past the tipping point, where nothing happens, where it's boring, where the work is like, ugh, this sucks. You've all heard it. There's a 30 to 90 day delay in this business. And how many of you are getting to day 30 and going, well, nothing happened? Well, of course nothing happened. You haven't hit your tipping point yet. It's a mathematical term. It's a statistical term. It is a real thing. And consistency is not about posting. It's about consistently connecting with your audience in a way that matters to them. Because let me tell you something. A lot of you know this. You post an inspirational quote 5 times a day on your wall, you don't get coaches flying in the door nonstop. It doesn't work like that. Consistency is about consistently putting out action. Because every day you show up, you reach another person. Every day you show up, you reach another person. And you truly don't know when you're going to reach that person that tips everything for you. A little side story, not completely Beachbody related. I'm doing all right on time. I have like 2 more minutes. Am I good? Okay. They said, sure. It's a bad thing to say to me. So when I was first getting started in my business, I just hustled and hustled and hustled. And then one day I connected with a guy who's my mentor now. I'm in his high-level mastermind. Love working with him, James Wedmore. Some of you guys may be familiar with him if you've been to Platinum Edge last year or the year before. And he decided to do a joint venture with me. For those of you that don't know what a joint venture is, it's exactly what you're doing with Beachbody. You represent their products for a commission. And we decided to work together, and suddenly, like, I blew up. I was everywhere. And everyone's like, I actually got emails from people who were like, you're so lucky that James worked with you. You're so lucky that he decided to work with you. What people didn't know is that I had been speaking with James behind the scenes for 6 months. And every time he said, have you ever thought about doing this? Not only had I thought about doing it, I did it. I went and did it. I took action. Mm-hmm. And when he approached me about this, and I threw the offer out there, he was like, absolutely, why wouldn't I? You're going places, right? And that's not to be like, wow, look at Zack, he's so great, he has awesome friends. It's the 6 months of work that you didn't see. Because at any point in time, I could have been like, this guy's not making a move. He's like, are we going to work together? Like, what's coming of this? Is he just helping me? Forget it. I should go focus on something like more impactful. I've had this happen with a lot of really awesome podcasts that I've been interviewed on. I got the privilege, you guys know Amy Porterfield's Marketing Made Easy podcast? Yeah, it's a great podcast. Highly recommend it. I got to be on it a couple times. And the first time I was on it, people were like, wow, how'd you land that gig? Well, I bought her program in March of 2015. I did the program. I made $10,000. I connected with her assistant. I became friends with her assistant over 3 months. I sent a proposal email to them. I connected with them. I followed up every 3 weeks for 3 months. Then I waited 2 months to do my interview. Then I waited another 2 months for the interview to go live. And then I networked with her at a live event. It took about a year to get on that show. Nothing you would have seen, nothing I was posting on social media. So I know that this isn't specifically a marketing message. I know that it's not specifically like, oh wow, go post this. But it's to tell you that all of these things matter. All of these little actions that I've given you, from talking to your customers every week, to posting in these groups, to paying attention to what people say, to actually crafting marketing messages over time. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Do you guys remember what I said at the beginning of this? I made my first dollar online when I was 12. So really, it took me 10 years to build a really successful business. Stop expecting it tomorrow and just start chipping away. Just as a little side note, if you haven't read this book yet, get it, because this concept is absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty sure the penny example is in there, but my slide person is just not into me, I guess. So, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is an absolutely fantastic book. And it really talks about this concept, and I could go on and on about it, but I won't because he does a really good job, and it's in a really affordable book. So if you don't have that book, and you are intrigued by this, and you're thinking like, yeah, that's what I need to do is just start chipping away and really moving forward with this, that's a book that's really going to help you. So just to put it all together, just to put everything together into a really short, concise, simple message, takeaway, action item, whatever you want to call it. Stop talking and start listening, and speak that way. A lot of people up here are going to say, on every stage you go to, do this, do that, say this, say that. Here's my invitation post. Of course that invitation post works for them. That's their tribe. Do your people even want you to say that? Do we stop and think about that? Stop throwing content at the wall and start listening. I didn't coin this phrase, good marketers listen. It's an old school thing, like 20, 30, 40 years old school. Stop talking, start listening. So that's it. I was going to end really strong there and be like, thank you. But yesterday in my workshop, the link did not work. For a great marketer, I really bit the bullet on that one. But I convinced them to throw up the link on the slide here. So just as a little side note, this is kind of a shameless plug. This is for the Facebook ads course. Or I'm sorry, the Facebook ads free mini course. But I just want you to understand that the power of everything I told you here, I promised that I would show you how Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are the same person, and I'm going to do that right now. What if you did all of this and wrote an ad that ran for you all the time and attracted the right people into your tribe? Yeah. There's the yeses I couldn't get yesterday because all your eyes were crossed. That's the power of good marketing. You want more out of your life, you have to market yourself. No one is going to come to you and say, my exact problem is this, and my credit card's ready when you say X, Y, Z. I wish. But not really, make my job obsolete. But get out there and start listening. Thanks, guys.